Hey everyone, this is just a quick reminder that due to me getting my tooth pulled out, the following informational bits are pre-recorded, so hope this warns you, and let's continue on with the video about the MS Estonia. Thank you. It's September the 28th of 1994, in which we see the MS Estonia cutting down through the water. But little did you know that this cruise ferry that you see here would all go down in history, as she will be in the worst disaster, killing 852 people. And that was it. And in this video, we will discuss about the MS Estonia disaster, in which we'll ask why did it happen, why did it end in tragedy, and why did it cause a spark that implied more safety regulations in all travel lanes, in which we will understand and ask how, what, and why it was the Baltic's final voyage.
Estonian nopea uppoaminen syysmyrskyssä on vaatinut yli 800 kuolonuhria. Vain 133 pelastui.
Yksi tyttö otti mun käteeni kiinni. Ja piti aika pitkä, mutta tyttö ei voinut auttaa mitään, koska minusta roitti vielä 2 tai 3 henkilöä.
Ruotsissa perustettiin heti ammattiauttajien kriisiryhmiä uhrien omaisten auttamiseksi.
September the 28th. 1994. There, Armageddon and hell will break loose. The MS Estonia disaster was a disaster that happened on September the 27th of 1994 at the Baltic Sea. She was originally arriving from Tallinn to Stockholm, Sweden, and there the disaster unfolded. Inside, the crew and passengers are having the time of their life. But still, remember, it's 1 a.m. The passengers are talking and the crew are still monitoring. And even to this day, the crew and some passengers would go down with the ship, and it's not sure why. And we know the truth. These people will all die, and they don't know it yet. In this instant, they don't know they will die. For basic information, here is some facts about the Estonia. She was a cruise ferry, a cruise ship and a ferry joined together as one. She was built in 1980 and originally operated under 7 names, actually 7 names? It's under different names, multiple, until she was bought by the S-Line shipping company and was renamed into the Estonia. It is now 1 a.m. and the Estonia is still traveling through the Baltic Sea. But there is one thing that we need to tell you. The Estonia was a horrible design, with a bow that can open and close. And there, it happened. Due to the strong waves and severe thunderstorm, the bow of the Estonia began to detach, ultimately falling off. On board were 989 people. Typically, they were visiting families, they were having the time of their lives, or maybe it's vacation. But what's simple is that the Estonia was not at the right time to be at any sea trials, because the Estonia was caught in a storm. Yes, a storm. Inside, as you can see now, the Estonia had already started to dip into the water. And inside, well, let's just say it was a massacre, a mass panic. Passengers were panicking as the inclination levels grew deeper and deeper. Even the crew cannot hold themselves on. As you can see, the crew are panicking, trying not to fall off, but it was too late. All hope seemed lost for them. The ship's bow visor, which can lift up to bring in cars, was a horrible design choice since it was relatively weak and also there had been some wear and tear. And on that day, the visor will be compromised. Since the passengers are panicking, it had become a painful time, to survive. And eventually, the Estonia's crew and its passengers still continued to panic as they were already awake at this moment. Around 1 a.m. September the 28th, a loud bang was heard. Just like in our season 1 episode about Apollo 13, the astronauts heard a loud bang. But this one is different since 989 people heard a giant bang. And that bang was the visor locks, and they failed, causing the visor to disconnect. And eventually, due to the weight of the cars on one side, the Estonia listed onto one side. The coordinates that we've shown here are the actual coordinates in when the Estonia sent its distress and mayday call. The first ship to pick up was the Mariella, in which the replies weren't heard. So the Estonia had to make a call to the Silja Europa, what you see here. The Europa and its crew were 9 miles away, and the conversation went like this.
Europa, Estonia. Silja, Europa, Estonia.
Estonia, this is Yesteryear, Europe, replying on June 16.
Silja, Europa.
Estonia, this is Yesteryear, Europe, on June 16.
Silja, Europa, Viking, Estonia.
Estonia.
Mayday. Silja, Europa, Estonia.
Estonia, Silja, Europa, are you calling Mayday? Estonia, what's going on? Can you reply?
This is Estonia. Kuka se on siellä? Silja, Europa, Estonia.
Yes, Estonia, this is Silja, Europa.
Hyvää huomenta, puhutko sä suomea?
Joo, puhun suomea.
Joo, meillä on nyt tässä ongelma. On paha kallistuma oikealle puolelle. Uskon, että oli 30 astetta. Voisitko sä tulla apuun ja pyytää myös Viking Linein apun?
Joo, Viking Line on tässä perässä ja meni varmaan tietoon. Ja voitko antaa sun position?
Siis meillä pätkitään, meillä on blackout ja emme saa nyt, mä en osaa sanoa sitä.
Okei, selvä, ryhdytään toimiin.
During the Estonia's list, nearby ships were obviously near, and then the Estonia started sending a mayday call, and one of the other ships that received the mayday call was the Silja Europa by the Tallink line, and the Silja Europa is actually still operatable. And I mean by that, she still operates even to this day. The Silja Europa immediately sent the coordinates to other merchant vessels nearby, but unfortunately, the 9-mile trip wouldn't arrive to the Estonia's coordinates, into which the Estonia, already full of panicking passengers and heavy load, began to dip into the water. Eventually, her back rised up and ultimately she fell into the water, taking with her 852. And that was it for the Estonia's voyage. In the wake of the disaster, 800 people died, and typically 852 lives were lost. Out of the 989 passengers and crew, only 137 people survived, and that was it. Immediately after the disaster had unfolded, all major news outlets in Sweden, Estonia and Finland reported it, and it was wildfire. It was madness. What you're seeing here is the actual rescue attempt for the Estonia's passengers and survivors. And that was it for the tyranny of the Estonia. It was hell on earth, and that was that. This was all that was left of the tragedy of the MS Estonia. In the aftermath of the disaster, the wreck was visited only sometimes, and eventually the bow visor of the Estonia was recovered and is still on display. And as of now, multiple memorials are still in there for the Estonia. So yes, we have learnt about the MS Estonia and its disaster that unfolded. And to that, we say goodnight, good luck, and good morrow. And thanks for watching Disasters of Yesteryear Season 2, Episode 5.